Good evening and welcome to the workshop for the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. It is January 3rd, 2023. It is 6:30 p.m. First, we're going to have the citizens forum. We've got 2 people signed up. You get 3 minutes to speak. When you come to the podium, please state your name and address. First, we have Deanne Manning.
Good evening, Deanne Manning, 1166 Lake Road, Nolensville, 37135. 2 things that I would like to see addressed by this board would be the lack of communication over Christmas weekend for the water outage in the South Waldron residence area, and an explanation for the dismissal of 2 of the planning board commission members, and that's all I have to say about that. So I would like to see those things addressed at some point in the next probably month. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have John Skinner.
Mayor, distinguished aldermen and alderwomen. John Skinner, 790 Stones River Road, Laverne. I've already talked to quite a few people here tonight. My concern was the plat map that I've seen for Phase 11, the construction going on up northeast of where I reside. The lines on the plats are incorrect. I will go to who I have been told to go to and check these out, but as it stands, as far as, you know, that's what I was wanting to see, what you had as your plat map as compared to the one that I have. The lines are not right. The survey is evidently incorrect, or they have put it on incorrectly, but it's a little farther south than it should be. And that addresses the problem that I have with the storm water, which I know that that's going to be part of the Planning Commission, and moving forward, the actual building and stuff like that, where the drain off is going to go. I was told that it was going to go. As a matter of fact, the meeting, it was stated that it would be diverted southwest directly toward the detention pond beside my house, which I don't think we can handle any more water there myself. But if someone would just take the time to look and see if the Phase 11 plat map that's been proposed so far is correct, then I would appreciate it. And I will also be up here probably either Monday or Tuesday to bring my map and compare it with what you have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to the workshop agenda, I will have the prayer on Thursday night, and Alderwoman Haas will have the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone should have a copy of the minutes from the September 6th, 2022 regular meeting, the December 6th, 2022 meeting as well. And then moving on to our presentations, we've got the National Fire Prevention Week poster contest winner, Kevin Douglas and Curtis Brinkley, if y'all can come up. Come up here. Come over here. Come over here. This.
Here, stand right here.
Come over here. Turn
There
around.
you go.
There you go. Guys, let's show the poster and talk a little bit about this.
All right, why don't you hold that up there? Be proud of it. So this is Miss Caitlin Kopp. She is a 4th grader at Boardroom Elementary School. Each year, as most of you may know or may not know, the nation recognizes Fire Prevention Week during the 2nd week of October. The state traditionally has always hosted a fire prevention poster contest, and this year Ms. Cope was selected the winner for the city of Laverne, and her poster will now be sent up to the state fire marshal's office, and hopefully she can get further recognition for her efforts there. So in honor of your efforts and your willingness to participate, we've got you a handful of things, so I'll take this from you. Life Safety Officer Kevin's got a certificate for you that says, presented to Caitlin Cope, 2022 Fire Prevention Week Poster Contest winner, presented today. That's for you, darn. And then we got you a Fire Department Challenge coin, then also a little bag of goodies.
Yep.
All right, I'll let you hold hold that right there. And to further show our appreciation for your efforts and your participation, okay, we're going to give you this award that only certain people get for special recognition. All right? On the back of this, it says conduct showing this person to be high legal, moral, and ethical standards. So I'm going to put this on you, okay? All right. So for her hard work, we also sponsor a pizza party for the classroom. So her class will get that to further demonstrate her hard work and willing to participate, and then her knowledge in fire safety. So let's all give Ms. Copeland a round of applause, please.
Kevin, Curtis, can we see the poster, please?
Oh, wow. That's good.
I'm blind, Kevin.
Oh,
Can we come
here.
down here? I hate to be a pain, but if you know the number, call 911. All right, good job. Yes, you did. Good job.
Good.
Should be very proud, Mom.
I am. Thank you guys so much.
Okay, we will have departmental reports on Thursday. Then we have got the consent agenda. A, approve agreement for engineering services from Griggs and Maloney for the design of a 24-inch water main from Mason Road to the Sanders Tank.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Aldermen. I haven't met a couple of you. My name is Jamie Enzi. I'm with Griggs and Maloney. We're the water consultant for the city of Laverne, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight. This proposal is for providing a survey and preparation of the legal descriptions and exhibits for necessary easements, the engineering design, bidding, and construction phase services for the proposed 24-inch water main that would extend from an existing 24-inch water main that currently terminates on Mason Road up to the Sanders water storage tanks. The city has been working in phases over the past several years to install a complete 24-inch water transmission main from the water treatment plant to these tanks. This is to help reinforce the piping network through this pressure zone and to be able to fill those tanks at a higher flow rate as demand continues to increase without overstressing the existing network. This project was evaluated in the Water System Master Plan that was updated last year and identified as a top priority. Additionally, this project is part of the American Rescue Plan non-competitive grant applications that were submitted to TDEC in November. If awarded, these grants will help cover the construction cost portion once it's been awarded. I think TDEC is currently still reviewing those and estimated to start awarding those in February of this year. Do you all have any questions?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
B, approve amendment to professional services agreement with Reagan Smith Associates Incorporated for design of Brookside Park improvements.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Board of Mayor and Aldermen, city staff.
I hadn't seen him in a while.
Now I looked out, I recognized him.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm pleased to be in front of you tonight because we're acting on something that I know is important. I had lived in Laverne for quite a while, from 2000 to 2018, and lived near where this park is being proposed, and I know that it's an important part of the city's Park and Recreation Master Plan, which we were pleased to be a part of as well. And we are seeking additional services for the project. It's been more than a year, almost a year and a half since we originally applied for the grant. Construction costs have gone up, design costs have gone up, and then also we've recognized with a survey that was done that we are going to be wrestling out some extensive engineering on the site due to some floodplain. So we're seeking additional services for that, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Does anyone have any questions?
This is to resolve those issues with the floodplains?
So we'll have to, in our engineering approach, have to make sure that we don't add any additional fill in the floodplain. We can balance it, we can work in it, but, so it'll be challenging, and that's how we're gonna have to proceed with our design.
A lot of it's fitting the grade with the stormwater.
Yes, sir.
So some of it will be maybe some revisions to the concept plan also, because we had, I think some members or all members have seen a conceptual layout that was submitted. That is going to have to be adjusted some based on this information we've got with the survey, because some of that just does not fit with what we're seeing. So we're going to have to be working with TDEC to come up with a solution to what they would be okay with and still meet the original concept, but it, like I say, some of the stuff just will not fit, so.
Does that big creek that runs down through there, does it ever get up and come over there?
Well, that's what we'll have to, he's talking about some of the engineering. We'll look at we can't get in the floodway for sure, but the floodplain, some, if not all of this, will be in the floodplain. And that's one of the things we'll have to figure out once they design it and do the material for the surface, even under the playground equipment, is what material do we need to use? And of course, I know David has had some concerns on that, because if you do the pour in place, that can get really expensive pretty quick. But if you use something else, is it going to get washed away if it, ever floods? So all that's going to be taken into account when they're designing this, and I think that's some of the reason why, or a lot of the reason why the additional cost.
What's the time frame, you think, for you to come up with a concept?
Well, we'll have to complete the project given that it's under a TDEC grant. I don't want to misstate the year. Do you remember, Kyle? It's basically a two and a half
I think
year
you got 2.5 to be, yeah.
process, but, so first step will be to make sure, as Mr. Brown had mentioned, that we get something that TDEC is happy with, that we know can fit. So we'll just take it step by step.
Thank you.
Thank you.
C, approve agreement with Hands On Nashville for volunteer management, recruiting, and advertising for stormwater events. This is just an annual renewal. It's a $200 membership, and we've partnered with them for the last 2 years. Does anyone have any questions?
I have a quick question, just for clarification purposes, but what's an example of a stormwater event?
So that would be they do a stormwater cleanup along the greenway. They do a water garden event. They do events at different activities that we do, like Old Timers, where they show the full concept of how stormwater works, different things like that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? D, approve agreement for engineering services from CTI for the Sub-basin master plan for the Hollandale Road drainage basin.
All right, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Aldermen, Alderwomen. My name is John Gehring with CTI Engineers. We're the sewer consultant for the city. And this particular agreement is to do a sub-basin master plan for the Hollandale Road drainage basin, which is the drainage basin north of the city. It's in response to a water and sewer availability request for the Lake Woods Phase 11 project that has been, I guess, asked to expand. Anyway, what this is going to do is take a deeper dive into a previously prepared master plan that we did to look closer at the sewer mains in that area. And if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer.
Anyone have any questions? Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Moving on to E, approve amendment number 23-1 to contract 2326-17 of the Greater Nashville Regional Council for the provision of senior center services. And this is basically a provision that provides an extra $3,787.50 to the senior center. Does anyone have any questions? Moving on to new business. First reading ordinance 2023-01, an ordinance to amend Title 5, Chapter 4 of the Laverne Municipal Code regarding purchasing. This has been something that we've worked on for a while, or when I say we, more of Bruce. Bruce, do you want to just dive into this one?
Sure. Basically, we're updating our purchasing policies, not been updated since 2016. We've been working with MTS on these amendments to make sure we're following all of the state laws here. Basically, some of the high points of this, the ordinance amends the municipal code, Title 5, Chapter 4, and one of the sections gives me, the city administrator, the authority to appoint and delegate a purchasing agent to conduct the purchasing for the city. We've had a purchasing agent, obviously, for a long time, but MTS felt that it needed to be spelled out, that I have that authority to designate somebody as the purchasing agent, because earlier in the municipal code, it basically designates me as the purchasing agent, so they wanted to clarify that. Some of the purchasing categories and levels will change to make it a little simpler, a little more efficient. Currently, our level that requires a requisition and purchase order is $300. This will change that to $1,000 because it's getting harder and harder to buy anything, that we need to operate the city for $300. It also allows the mayor to sign agreements and contracts for purchases that are under $5,000 as long as the city attorney is okay with the language of that contract. This would help kind of clear up some of the items that we have to bring before council every month, like the $200 agreement, for instance, it just doesn't make sense to bring something that small to the board and have to wait a month to get it approved by the board. If it's something that is over $5,000 and it's a budgeted item, it also gives the mayor to sign any required contracts or agreements without board approval, as long as the city attorney is okay with it. If it's not for a budgeted program or item, it would still have to come through the board for your approval. It also amends our purchasing policy, our travel policy, which we've not had a lot of specifics on, so this just kind of clarifies a lot of things, and certainly recommend that this get approved.
Does anyone have any questions?
That's a broad range of stuff.
It's a 95-page document that I've been working on for about 6 months, so yes, it's taken a lot of time.
Okay, moving on to number 6, resolution number 2023-01, a resolution authorizing the city of Laverne to participate in the Public Entity Partners Property Conservation Matching Grant Program. Again, this is a grant. We've got 3 purchases. The grant will fund 50% of them to a maximum amount of $5,000. We're requesting this grant to purchase part of the ThinkGuard cybersecurity suite. So, does anyone have any questions? Number 7, resolution 2023-02, a resolution authorizing the city of Laverne to participate in the Public Entity Partners Cybersecurity Partners Matching Grant Program. And this is another grant where PIP will reimburse 50% of our cost for some purchases. It's a 50-50 grant, maximum of up to $2,000. And again, this is for ThinkGuard as well. Is there any questions? Moving on to 8, approve a contract for purchase and sale of real estate and a lease agreement for 169 Stones River Road, existing Fire Station 41. And this is November 1st of 2022 meeting. Board approved a letter of intent to sell the existing Fire Station 41 to PG Stones River Partners. And this is sales associated. This is a sales associated contract and lease agreement that would allow the sale of the property and the lease back provisions for the city. The appraisal came back at $300,000, which is the same amount the group offered for the property. We're still waiting on the monthly lease agreement portion, so we hope we have that. Is that correct? Did we get that in, Bruce?
I do not have that yet.
Okay, I was going to say I haven't seen it, but does anyone have any questions?
The only question I got on it is what I stated the last last meeting, the pawn shop next door sold just a few weeks ago, for $650,000 plus a 10% buyer's fee. That puts it over $700,000. If you look at both buildings, there ain't a whole lot of difference, but there's a big difference between $300,000 and over $700,000.
I thought there was a sizable difference in the property
I'll,
size.
yeah, I checked into that because I was not happy with this price, but I checked into that. First of all, the pawn shop building is about 1,000 square feet bigger. Plus, when it sold, it didn't just sell the building and a property. That was contents, guns, ammunition, diamonds, gold, bicycles, machinery, pressure washers. So it wasn't just like that, and I'm sure Ronnie will back me up on that fire station. That's gonna be just a hull. Yes, sir. Once that thing's empty, it's just gonna be an old hull that's about to fall down. But the pawn shop didn't just, they sold, if you look it up and read about it, it's all public records. They sold everything, contents, everything. So that's why there was such a big money difference.
Well, for me, I would not be comfortable voting on this until we have the lease agreement back. So that has to be a part of this as a whole.
Would Evan agree with that?
Yes, sir. No, I totally agree. And they have our markup, so we'll see what they say.
Does anyone have any other questions, comments? Moving on to 9, appoint and remove board and committee members. First, we have got the beer board. We've got 2 terms that expired at the end of last year. Terms of Kevin Oliver and Vicki Pollock expired, and they both wish to stay on the board. We have not received any applications for this, although it is being advertised. Then we've got the Greenway Advisory Committee. We've got 1 term that expired at the end of the year. That's Melissa Joiners. We're waiting to hear back from her as far as if she wants to remain on the committee. It is being advertised. Historical Preservation Advisory Committee. We've got 1 term vacant. That's Chuck Isbell, who had resigned, and his term expired at the end of the year. We do not have any applicants for that currently. And then the Library Board. And let's see here. We've got 3 terms vacant. We've got Bridget Cole. We've got Gary Frazier and Linda Steed. Bridget and Gary's terms, they're not eligible for reappointment due to state legislator limitations, so we'll be looking for new applicants there. Linda has requested to be taken off this board, and so we do have this being advertised on Channel 3 and on social media. If we don't have any other applicants by Thursday, this will be removed. Next, we have the Local Emergency Planning Commission. We've got 5 terms that expired at the end of the year. We're looking at Justin Blair, Daniel Campbell, Brent Hatcher, Chris Schmidt, and Alex Thompson. Staff recommends that all of these members be reappointed except for Justin Blair because the Laverne Rescue Squad's requested that Marty Blair replace this gentleman. Next, we have the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. We've got 1 term that expired at the end of the year. That is Chuck Isbell. He wants to stay on the committee. We also have one other applicant, Kevin Oliver, and we will see if anybody else applies between now and Thursday. Then we have the Stormwater Appeals and Advisory Board. We've got 2 terms vacant. That is Megan DeBoard and Jeff Moss. Jeff would like to remain on this board, but Megan would like to come off of it. So that is being advertised on Channel 3 and on social media, but we've not received any other applications. Next, we have the Board of Zoning Appeals. We've got 1 term that expires at the end of January. It's Terrence Smith. We are reaching out to him and just waiting to see as far as if he would like to remain on here or not, but that is being advertised on Channel 3 and on social media, but it will not be on the agenda for Thursday night. And then finally, we've got the Construction Board of Adjustment and Appeals. We've got 2 terms that have expired, or that will expire at the end of January. That's Teresa Hesse and Jeff Moss. We'll be reaching out to both of those to see if they want to stay on the board, and we will begin advertising that on Channel 3. Again, this is just an FYI for that board. And with that, we will move on to mayor and alderman comments. Alderman Waldron.
I want everybody to remember the Montgomery family for their loss, and check on the elderly and make sure the pets has ample water and shelter. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderwoman Hobbs.
Yeah, excuse me if this is out of place, but I was wondering, do we have any updates on the Thornton's intersection?
They have, the last update we have is that they had till the 19th to complete the paving, and then it would go into liquidated damages where they are fined daily. Our Assistant City Administrator, Kyle Brown, did reach out to them. Kyle, do you have any update from them?
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to wait until paving weather again, so it's gonna be, in my opinion, a few months for sure, but they will be charged liquidated damages, and they know they are being charged damages, so.
So, after the 19th,
As of the 19th, they will be charged.
as of the 19th of December,
Yes,
okay?
they're already being charged.
So if anybody thinks that some of that caused damage to their vehicle, they can submit claims?
It's still an active construction site, so as of right now, anything that happens in the construction zone is responsibility of the contractor.
And they have an insurance company.
I just know I've seen a lot of talk, and, you know, that way if somebody asks, we can at least give them an honest answer.
Yes, we've had a few, and Deech, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we've had a few that have contacted us about damage, and we have turned them over to the contractor to get with their insurance company.
So if somebody brings that up, do we tell them to contact you, Bruce, Mike? Huh? Okay, Andrew in HR. Okay, I didn't know that.
And you can get to any of us, we'll get it to the appropriate spot.
Okay.
What is the daily fine? Do you know?
I think off the top of my head, I think it's $800 a day.
Okay.
And again, that's per day.
Heard it.
The second thing, I would like to address the South Waldron water outage over Christmas time. I received a number of phone calls, texts, reaching out about questions about that. I have been talking with fire. I talked with Mike today. I talked to there's a couple other people. You know, first I do want to thank Mike and Danny from Infomark. They were out there working. I do feel like the city could have improved on communication efforts to the citizens. According to the kind of the timeline that I played out, I mean, the media had already released a statement before the city released a statement. So I'm actively kind of talking to people to figure out what we can do better. I mean, it happened, like I said, I do agree, it was kind of a perfect storm of things, freezing temperatures, rolling power outages. Don't know if there was anything that could have been done to prevent it. As I said when I was talking to Danny, I mean, they have a protocol. They went through Plan A, Plan B, Plan C. Just kind of, like I said, Mike was out there working all through the holiday. Like I said, that's no excuse for lack of information, I feel, to the community. But like I said, I'm actively trying to problem solve on that and see what we can come up with. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderwoman Haas.
I'd just like to wish everyone a happy new year and look forward to serving the community. Thank you.
Vice Mayor No.
As everybody knows, I'm a diehard sports advocate, so let's keep the young man from Buffalo in our prayers. This lady asked about this stuff. This weather that we had over Christmas holidays was sinful for this part of the country. I mean, it was just incredible. As a tax-paying citizen, I want to tell Michael and his crew, I went up there today to their office to thank them personally, and I found out today that one of his crew members that's married, has small children, spent all day Christmas out on a water break that we had on this side of town. The things that went on the other side of town, what's his name's gonna be here Thursday, Dwayne's gonna be here Thursday to talk to us a little bit. I talked to Michael a little bit about it. A couple of the things I didn't understand, though, Michael, I was in Woodland Hills yesterday, and I spoke with several people. They were out and about. It was a pretty day, and of course, I know so many people out there. And, you know, I apologized about the water, and I, you know, I hate it. And this person didn't have water, but this person never had no problems. I don't understand that. That's way above my head, but it just didn't make no sense. But I do know that that weather was bad. My heat went out. I couldn't even see my grandson. Cost me $900 to get my heat fixed, and I blame it on the electric, but I can't prove it, so I just eat it and glad to get it. So after my thinking about it, I thought, yeah, you know, some people didn't have water. A lot of people didn't have heat. Some people died. So the inconvenience and the communication was definitely an issue, and I'm hoping that Dwayne can give us a better outlook on it and let everybody know. But anyway, Michael, you guys were out there. It's my understanding some of you's worked 46 hours out of 72 in sub-zero weather. So as a citizen, I appreciate it. As a vice mayor, I commend our employees, and I get behind you 100%. That's it.
Well, I want to echo those thoughts. Thank you to Michael Dietz and your team, because it was all team. I know I drove back from middle of nowhere, Mississippi, and y'all were bundled up outside, basically playing in water, so to say. And then y'all did not even stop then. I think whenever I was out there, it was about 9 o'clock at night. But after that, y'all were over at the Ridge and making sure people over there had water once everything was hooked up. So you guys worked, whether it was service line breaks, whether it was main breaks, y'all worked relentlessly through the holiday, missing time with your families. So thank you. We do appreciate you and your staff. Dwayne Lowry with Infomark will be here, and he will talk to the board, go through what happened, explain why it happened, and how we move forward. Thankfully, it was something that was very quickly resolved. I know we were talking before the meeting, Vice Mayor No and I, this wasn't just a Nashville issue. Metro Nashville had a 24-inch water line break under the river, which is something we don't ever want to experience for a break. But we need to make sure that this doesn't happen again. I know Danny and his team know me. Whenever there is an issue, not only do I want the issue fixed, but I want to find out ways to prevent it in the future. So we will be hearing from Dwayne, who will walk us through all of that, and we can go from there. But I think it was summed up perfectly that it was a perfect storm of whether it's weather, technology, personnel, all happening at once, electricity happening all at once. So we'll go into that more in depth Thursday, 2 days from now. So everyone, don't show up next week, show up this Thursday. And we will go from there. With that, call this meeting adjourned.